Hello everyone, welcome to the Power Academy. In this topic we will going to discuss the de-escalation attempt from Russian side by pulling some troops from the Ukrainian border. Because according to the US President Joe Biden, the Russia was about to attack Ukraine by the 16th February, which is today. But the Russia gave its answer by pulling back some troops near the Ukrainian border. According to the Russian Foreign Ministry, the troops near the Ukrainian border returning to their bases after completing the military drills, which is an indication of the possible de-escalation during the crisis with the Western nations. The Russia and the West have been loggerheads ever since the reports came out that the over 1 lakh Russian troops were deployed near the Ukrainian borders. The US and the NATO allies alleged that the troop movement was the part of the Russian invasion plan. But how they came into a conclusion that the Russia will going to attack? Because of the wire formation the Russia has actually developed near the Ukrainian border. The Russia's main demand is that they just do not want the Ukraine to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. But the US and some Western European countries' comment on this matter has made this situation volatile. In fact, when the US President Joe Biden reportedly informed his allies that the Russia would launch an attack on February 16, the American president commented in this matter on the basis of the Russian wire formations near the Ukrainian border, as I said, because Russia was escalating the attack by flying its MiG-31K Foxbot with the hypersonic missile systems, and they have deployed so many aircrafts near the Russian borders, near the Ukrainian borders, and because of that comment, the chaos spread across the world. Because of the comment from the US president, the chaos actually spread across the world. Hence, the various eastern and the western countries issued the advisory to their citizens to leave the Ukraine immediately. India also issued its advisory, especially for the students, those who are pursuing the medical education from the different Ukrainian university, because there are almost 20,000 Indians over there in the Ukraine. But the immediate evacuation is not possible because of the plane fare, and the availability is an important issue. Availability of the plane is an important issue. That is why the most of the Indian students and some Western peoples fled the Ukraine through the Poland and the Romania. So such kind of irresponsible comment created the chaos like this, and the leaders have to refrain making such aggressive comments, because responsibility is the duty of a nation to prevent the hooliganism. And the Joe Biden is a leader who already made the blunder in his hurried Afghan pullout. Since the US's Afghan pullout, Joe Biden's acceptance has been reduced among the American citizens, and the Biden have to face the midterm elections on November 2022. So if the Biden failed to contain the Ukrainian debacle, then its popularity goes into negative, and he will be considered as one of the most reckless president in making the decisions. So from that point of view, the Biden is making this kind of statements about the Ukrainian situations. So yesterday, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that he is ready to work further with the West on the security issue to de-escalate the tensions over the Ukraine. But he emphasized the need for the West to heed the Russia's main demand. He said in a joint conference with a German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Moscow. Actually, the Russia took the track of the negotiation because of the Putin's discussions with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. In that discussion, the Sergei Lavrov told the Putin that the end issue can be resolved diplomatically, and the West is ready to accept some of the Russian demands with some conditions. So we need to know the Russian demands. What are the Russian demands? Because demands are very, very bizarre. Because the West cannot accept these demands, putting their country's own security in the risk, in dangers. But we have to discuss those demands, and the demands are, the first demand is an end to the NATO military activity in the Eastern Europe that includes all Balkan states, Poland, Ukraine, and the Caucasus and the Central Asia. The second one is no expansions of the NATO membership, particularly to the Ukraine. And the Russia want an illegal guarantee from the US and the NATO allies that the Ukraine would never be the member of NATO allies. No, the third one is no intermediate and the short range missile deployed close enough to hit the territory of the other sides. The fourth one is the military exercise of more than one military brigade in an agreed border zone. The fifth one is the agreement that the parties do not consider each other as an adversaries and will resolve the dispute peacefully. And the sixth and the last one is neither Russia nor the US can deploy the nuclear weapon outside their national territories. Because during the Cold War time, the nuclear deployment created the chaos across the world. The USA actually installed some of its nuclear weapon in Turkey. In response of that deployment, the Russia also deployed some of its nuclear weapon near the Russian border. So that created the nuclear chaos in the world at that time, and that was resolved through the dialogue. So these demands cannot be accepted by the Western countries, because these are all the Russian demands on the conditions the Russia has put. But both Russia and the NATO decided to talk this over. They have decided that they will going to talk, they will going to resolve this thing amicably through the diplomatic way. See, according to my view, the European peace cannot be achieved without Russia. The Europe cannot settle the peace agreement living in isolation, because as much as the Europe need Russia, the Russia also need Europe. Because in this globalized world, everyone depends on everybody due to the economical reasons. The Europe depends on Russian gas and the oil. The Russia provides the Europe gas through the pipeline which is going through the Ukraine. And Russia is also paying the $2 billion to the Ukraine to providing the Russia the services. That is why the Ukraine is very important for both Europe and the Russia. So due to the Russian aggression, the oil price actually soared. The price of per barrel reached $95. But when the Russia declared the troops removal, then the oil price plummeted. Now it is at the 90 rupees per barrel. So the war is not the solutions. Everybody has their own responsibility to resolve these solutions. But some of the Western news channels like the BBC and the CNN escalating the situations. They are declaring some of the undeclared things from the Russian sides. That is why that escalations has been deepened. And this is how the situation is being created through the news channels. And these news channels have to take the cautions in declaring some of the things which is not in there in reality. So the peace and the amicable diplomacy can have only solution, can give the only solution to achieve the economical and the regional harmony. Now the first question is, during what international war the Russian Revolution took place? First option is World War I, second is Russo-Japanese War, the third is Napoleonic War, the fourth is World War II. The second question is, what slogan was shouted during the February Revolution? The first option is let them eat the cake, second option is freedom and justice, third option is no more war, fourth option is bread and peace. If anyone wants to give me the answer, then write it into the comment sections. And if anyone have any question regarding this topic and regarding the other topics I have already published, you can mail me to my email address, which is tuhin.power.academy@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.